Hey guys, Frank here from the Art of 3D Experience, and I hope you guys are having a good week. And today I would like to talk about something that's been coming up quite often recently, and that is to do with how you can export your models for online platforms and especially metaverse platforms, and maybe online platforms where you can sell 3D assets. So if you've seen platforms like Sketchfab, right? You've been on those websites where you look at the amount of details they've got on those models, and you kind of wonder how they got these models to look like this. Because if you just export your models as they are in 3D, you kind of wonder how people get to explore them online without having any bugs or without struggling to walk around them. And it's basically very simple, and the trick is called baking. And baking is a trick that game designers have been using for ages. And what it is, the theory of it is that baking, basically, if you have lighting in your scene, baking bakes the lighting and the texture and reapplies that texture onto the model, so it is fixed and it's not live. So let me just show you what I mean. So in this model, I've got a piece of a portion of a 3D gallery from a course I did for Twinmotion. And by the way, if you guys want to learn how to transform your models from basic 3D models like this into amazing environments, I've got a course for Twinmotion in Udemy, and hopefully for Skillshare by the time this video comes out. So basically, I've got this portion of a 3D gallery, and I've also got some light that are hidden up here. I'm going to unhide them. Right, so I've got 3 lights, 1 spotlight per artwork. And I would like to export my model so I can upload it online, and I want it to look like this, right? So how do I get this? So what you need to do first is you need to bake your lighting. And to bake your lighting, you need to select the objects that are being affected by your light, not the lights themselves. And you need to go down to Object and go down to Bake Object. So once you're in Bake Object, you can select what material channel you'd want to include in your export. For this exercise, we're just going to use the Illuminate channel, and we're going to set the texture size to 124 by 124, and basically that's the size of each material covering an object in your scene. So this wall, this outer structure piece of geometry will be covered by a white piece of material that is 124 by 124. Same for the artwork and same for the floor. So this might not be optimal for you. You might want to increase it, and the way you increase it is you go up, you double the number for your width and your height. So if I wanted to go to 2K, for example, I'd go 2048 by 2048. And that would be a more detailed export, just because this floor is a large expanse of geometry. But for now, I'll keep it to 124 just as an example. So 124. So all my textures are 124 by 124. And what it's going to do is going to generate a texture mapping for each of these objects, for the artworks, for the edging, and for the main floor, and for the outer structure as a separate material, and it's going to reapply it onto these objects as a simple map that has the lighting baked into it. So let's go ahead and export. So I'm going to select all my artworks, 124 by 124. I'm going to find a place to save them. Okay, and I'm going to bake my object. So there you go, it cycles through each object and basically calculates the lighting as a texture. So that's my wall, and there you go. So when it finishes, it shows you a preview of what it's going to look like. And if it looks kind of blurry on your screen, you can increase the level, the resolution on your screen. So let me just delete the ones I did before. These are the old ones. So when it's finished baking, it hides your old geometry, and it gives you your new geometry with the materials applied onto them. So these are my materials down here. I think these are old. Yes, so these are my materials down here. And if I select all of them, and in my material preview, if you go down to viewport and texture preview size, you can increase the texture preview. I'm going to increase it to the size of my texture, so maybe 124 by 124, and there you go. You can see the amount of detail has increased and the resolution has also increased. And this is basically my baked lighting. This is what I need to import into those online platforms. So now I don't need my lights, so I can hide my lighting and everything else is hidden. So all I have is my geometry and my baked lighting. So now if I wanted to go and render this, I could just render, and there you go. So this doesn't have any lighting in it. My scene is empty. It just has the geometry with the baked lighting. So this is how you go about exporting those type of scenes that you see here with all the details in them. So let's now go and export our model as FBX file. So let's go to File, Export, and we're going to export as FBX. I don't need any cameras, no splines. I'm going to untick. I'm going to keep my normals. I'm going to keep my baked materials. I'm going to embed texture. That's very important. And my substances, that's fine. And say OK. I'm going to save my model as gallery portion. That's fine. I'm going to save that in here. And now if I go onto a software like Unity, for example, and this is a new scene in Unity, I'm going to import my FBX file as I saved it. So I'm going to go right click on my assets box down here. I'm going to go to import new asset. I'm going to select my gallery portion, FBX model, and as you can see, nothing happens. I need to drag and drop it into my scene like so. So now you can see my model inside Unity. You can't quite get the details. I'm going to change it from shaded to shaded wireframe. So there you go. You can see my artwork in there, but it comes in as a white model. And what you need to do is basically import your textures and relink them to the model. So I'm going to right click on my asset box again, go to import new assets, and this time I'm just going to select my textures. I'm going to import them, and straight away it updates my model with the baked texture and lighting. So I don't need to add any lighting in Unity. All I need is my textures. And so I'm going to change this to shaded, and there you go. That's it. So now you can import the model you've exported from Cinema 4D into those platforms, or you can just add more details, add some interactions and stuff like that in your software like Unity. And so this is how this works, and this is how you get results like this in platforms like Sketchfab, or into metaverse platforms like Spatial. As you can see there, you got really nice models. So that's the technique they use to achieve these level of details, because as you can imagine, having hundreds of people at once in an environment online would prove to be very expensive to calculate for a machine. So this is how you save time and increase the level of detail into your scenes. And again, if you'd like to learn how to use Twinmotion to transform your basic 3D models into really amazing environments, you can check out my course on Udemy or on Skillshare, and I'll leave the link below for you guys. So I hope this has been useful to you, and I will see you in the next video.